Okay. First off, you need a group. That's what Jesus said. If we're going to fulfill our commission, if we're going to be unified around the mission of Jesus Christ, God says you need a group. This is not something people do individually. We don't have any Ronin Christians out there doing the work of God without a group. You say, well, what about Paul? Paul had a group, okay? And yeah, sometimes he would go out by himself and do stuff, but he reported back to the church of Antioch, right? He had people around him, supporting him, encouraging him. And yeah, sometimes he said, guys, I see something God wants me to do. I got to do it. But he still was part of the church. He wasn't just saying, y'all do you and I'll do me. That's not Christianity, okay? You need a group. And this is the first thing God says in verse 4. Look what it says. And being assembled together with them. He was assembled together. And later on, verse 12, they returned from unto Jerusalem from the mount called Olivet, which is from Jerusalem, a Sabbath day's journey. And when they were come in, they went into an upper room where abode Peter and James and John and Andrew and Philip and Thomas and Bartholomew and Matthew and James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon Zelotes and Judas, the brother of James, not the other Judas. These all continued with one accord in prayer and supplication with the women and Mary, the mother of Jesus, and with his brethren. You know what? There was 120 people in that group. This was the first church. This was the first instance of the church. They had a group. In those days, Peter stood up in the midst of the disciples and said, the number of names together were about 120. This is a pretty decent sized group that they had gathered together of basic believers. Now, they didn't know exactly what they were doing yet, but they were just simply following what God said. He said, get together, get your group. And this is something that we need to be aware of too, that the work of God, the work of the kingdom always happens through the local church. It's always done that way.